Welcome everyone to another AFR broadcast. We're here for round 2 in the Tier 1 Championship at Bahrain. Should be in for a great race tonight after that first Australia race. Had a little bit of hiccups there, but hopefully everything will be okay moving forward. Let's take a quick look at the track overlay. 5.412 kilometers, 15 turns. Got 2 excellent great passing opportunities up at turn 1 and turn 4. And of course Bahrain known for its very tricky braking zone with the downhill section into turn 10 and of course the turn of death moving around turn 12. So hopefully we should see some really good racing for tonight. Now with me is Matt Dabry. He will be taking over the co-host. All right.
Yeah, good to be here.
That's good. All right. So what are your thoughts? What are your predictions moving into this?
All right, so I reckon we've got, obviously, Revo has insane pace, getting selected for the esports time trial event, I think, coming up soon. So he's obviously my favourite for pole position in the win. Then I've also seen Mikhail's seems like he's got some really good pace in practice sessions. So I reckon it'll be a good battle between Mikhail and Seb for P2. And then I reckon P3 and downwards is just like, I don't know. It's going to be I reckon anyone has a chance, really. I'm hoping Matt Zoid gets up there because of Red Bull, but yeah, I reckon T-Mac has a good chance as well. What do you think?
Yeah, no, that's pretty spot on. Now, I have been talking with Band in the lead up to round 2, and she reckons that Mikhail might actually have some stronger pace and give Revo a run for his money. So I told him that I'd watch that very closely because that would be something that I would love to see. We know how talented Revo is, and if there's anybody that can challenge him, that just makes it better for all of us watching. So let's get a quick update on the current standings. So as of the last round, looking at the Tier 1 Championship, of course, Revo taking the win there in Australia. He'll get the top spot. Mikhail in a close second. Well, 20 seconds, but close is close. So he's in second. Third, Seb came in third. Obviously had some DC issues, but he managed to pull through. And then, of course, throughout the rest of the grid. Unlucky for some of these guys here on the bottom part of the ladder, but hopefully they'll be able to scrounge up some points tonight in Bahrain. And with all of that, we'll have a look at the updated constructor standings. So a great result from the Renaults, both in the points, so that puts them on 27 points. They're in first. Of course, Mikhail's second, put Haas on the second place. Red Bull in third. Williams in fourth due to T-Mac's really good positioning. I'm, very impressed by his Tier 1 debut. So
yeah, that was really good to see that someone coming straight from T2 could have such a good performance in T1.
Yeah, that's right. So hopefully we shouldn't have to wait too much longer. I think we got maybe about a 5-minute wait. All the drivers are, of course, getting ready to kick off the qualifying session, and then we'll be able to get into the race. So while we are waiting, let's just we'll go over some ideas and whatnot as we got to kill some time. So so let's talk tire strategy, fuel strategies. What's your opinion on those?
And so I reckon, from what I've tried out, I reckon medium to hard just one-stop medium to hard is pretty much what most people should be doing on tire strategies. There might be a couple of people attempting a 2-stop, but I think it's about 10 seconds slower the 2-stop. So I reckon, medium to hard should be the go. So we'll see people qualifying on mediums, which will be interesting. Maybe a couple people qualifying on softs at the front, which would be interesting. See people out of position. That's what I reckon. Maybe and fuel, just kind of. And pit, I reckon probably pit on lap 11 or 12 is what I reckon. Considering it's a 29 lap race, which is the same as Australia, but Bahrain's a bit of a longer course. So and the medium tyres make it a bit later. So it was about lap 9 pit in Australia. I reckon lap 11 or 12.
Yeah.
For this race.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Medium to hard does seem to be the more optimum strategy here for Bahrain. Of course, Bahrain being a much faster circuit. So running those softs, they do overheat very, very quickly, especially when you start going through all of those sweeping continuous corners. They do heat up the tyres a lot. So I don't really see anybody going for the soft strategy. You could technically do a two-stop, like you said. You could do like a soft, medium soft or something like that, but I feel like you'd lose too much time in the pit lane. So
it'd be interesting to see someone try that. But
if you
not sure if they'll have.
I reckon if you had it down to a science, like if you had it down to absolute timing, and you took care of your softs so you could extend the stint, maybe.
Yeah.
But
I reckon that would be possible because obviously you do get good pace off the line. So if you're starting on softs, you do have a chance to make a bit of a gap if you can, drive them nice and smoothly to make sure you don't get too much wear and overheating, but then also build that gap for a pit stop. But it'll be very hard to do, but it'll be interesting to see someone do it.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely medium and hard. Medium to hard will be the optimum strategy. You could also do soft to hard, but I feel as though the performance of the hard tyre would degrade much more rapidly.
Definitely, I agree.
You'd lose all your pace. We'll probably see the medium hard stretch for tonight's race.
There could be some people attempting the hard to medium as well. There's some people doing that in practice, which is obviously very difficult to qualify, but if you do qualify well, you get that kind of the tire advantage towards the end of the race, which is good for overtaking.
You could also bank on the fact you don't see it a lot in tier 1, but you could also bank on the fact that if you go hard to medium, yes, you'll qualify towards the back of the grid, based on the idea that everyone's doing the opposite, but you could also avoid massive accidents happening in the middle of the grid. You don't really see it too much in tier 1, but you do have instances where you put in the time, you qualify high, you sit in the middle of the pack somewhere, and then turn 1 happens. And people start running into each other, and it's just absolute chaos. Whereas if you sit at the back, you tend to be able to avoid all of those. So I guess it just depends on the quality of the racing. I don't think we'll see much of that. Tier 1, look, the quality of racing that we saw at Australia, there was a couple of DNFs. I think there was 2. I think there was 2 DNFs in total. Maybe 3. I'll be honest, I can't remember too well. But I don't think you'll be seeing that too much. The guys here are pretty up there on the talent curve. So we'll probably see some much cleaner racing. But hopefully we don't see Seb disconnect. I'd like to see a race where he just stays in the goddamn car.
Oh, that would be great, wouldn't it? And also, we have an interesting battle between T-Mac and Band. It sounds like in the practice race they were having a bit of a chat about them being the big showdowns. They seem to have quite similar pace, and it's kind of the young versus the old, the experienced versus the rookie. So that could be something.
Yeah, no, definitely. Look, I have to look. I'll put watching the AFR series. Seeing T-Mac perform last season, season 3, obviously in tier 2, he's got great speed, and of course showing at the showing that he gave us in Australia, coming 4th overall. So we know that he can keep up with these T1 guys, which is awesome. Band's a little bit funny because Band has so much experience, right? And he's not slow. But sometimes he gets caught off guard, which is weird because he's like the defense master. So Australia, he told me, in the weeks leading up to it, he was like, I don't know if I'm going to do well here because this isn't a strong track. And I mean, I can't begin to imagine how many laps the guy's done of the track, but yeah, it's not very fun. Australia is, look, I love it, homegrown, no worries, but let's be honest, it's not one of the best on the calendar.
Oh yeah, it's so hard to master. It took me absolutely ages. Like, it's lucky for me that it's the first track on the calendar because I actually had some time to practice it. But it took me so long to get my my time trial just time down like anywhere competitive. I think it's just because you have to be so aggressive with all the corners. You have to take as much of the curbs as you can and like use all the track and be super smooth all at the same time. So it's really hard mix to do. But it seems like Band has quite good pace on Bahrain, and so does T-Mac. So yeah, it'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, I'll take your word for it. Unfortunately, I didn't get to monitor a lot of the practice sessions we had throughout the week. I had a crazy busy week for myself, but I'm keen to see what all of that practice comes down to, of course, when we eventually get started. I think we are almost ready, just waiting on one or two drivers. So I think we're going to have an almost full grid. I think we'll have 19 drivers. Which is
that's great to see.
Yeah, it's really good to see. So, alright, let's fill in some time. Let's have a look. Right, let's go through the list. Okay, so Wahid had a pretty good race. He's always on the ball. He seems to really always step up to the plate. I do know he had a little bit of issues last week. It was, some issues, but he managed to bring it back. Where did he actually finish? Let me have a look.
I think it's P6.
He was P6, yeah.
Yeah. As coach, the reserve driver in P7, is he racing in today?
I don't know if he's racing tonight. Now, he obviously, I didn't include him in the leaderboard just because he was a reserve driver. But I mean, if he keeps driving as reserve, he might as well just have a full spot. As you know, exactly. Coach does have IRL obligations that prevent him from competing at this time slot, so he's always on and off.
Yeah.
But it would be cool to see him. He did a great job too, and right, he played the reserve drive perfectly because he set up the race to allow Flyboy to completely overtake him and gain positions, and that is exactly how you should. That's exactly how you should drive as a reserve driver. You put the team first because his points count towards not obviously in the drivers' championship. That's separate, but his points count towards the constructors. So he did a great job there. Flyboy ended up finishing behind him, I believe, because he had some tire issues. So I think Coach overtook him at the end. But that put them. I mean, Racing Point 5th on the leaderboard with 10 points. So that's really, really good. Well done there from Coach.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
Also, keeping our eye on the T2, T1 rookies that came from Tier 2. We've got Shrimp, Jacob, T-Mac, obviously, Impulse. I think that's all of them. So it'll be good to keep.
Yeah. And I think we've got. I can see a new person there in the. I think he's one of the reserve drivers. Sporty, 311.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I think that's a full grid. 2, 4, 6. We might actually have a full grid. All right.
Wow.
So
never seen before. Oh yeah, it is. That's 20 drivers.
So let's make our way over to just got to finish setting up all of the stuff for you guys at home. Then we'll be able to switch over. All right. Okay, so hopefully everything's coming through clear for you guys at home. I know we did have some issues last week, but hopefully we're past that. All right, so I have telemetry running on my side, so I should be able to give you guys better updates of the grid as we move on with tonight. And I should be able to keep a better eye on the track. Okay, let's bring this over a little bit. Drag that into the middle. Cool. Okay, so we've already got people all jumping out. Let's go on board with. Gonna have to go on board with Revo. Let's see what his times will be like.
It'll be great to see Mikau have to contend with Revo. I'd really love to see that. Just someone
for sure.
Give him a run for his money.
Definitely. I mean, look, I say it all the time, right? And the performance from Revo is well deserved. Just give me a sec, guys. Oh, okay, cool. So, as a surprise to absolutely nobody, it will be a dry race. Who knew that it doesn't rain in Bahrain? So I say this all the time, but Revo's performance is always stellar because he puts in the time. Like you said earlier, he qualified for the esports qualification series for 2020. So the guy puts in the time, he gets the reward. That's how it works.
He does, yeah.
Sometimes it can be a little bit annoying. Oh, and he takes off the bollard. No worries. It can be a little bit annoying because nobody really touches him. So he gets into the race and he just takes off and you sort of have to, deal with it. But you are seeing... So iron, right, is sharpened with iron. So watching these guys drive against each other, eventually you're going to see some of these T1 drivers start to challenge it, which would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
that would be really great to see.
Yeah, so in that sense, I think that Mikau is definitely going to, if he does put up a fight, it'll start to shift the tables a little bit, and then it won't be so much. There will actually be guesswork going in because it's really easy to just say,
big lock up there.
Revo's going to take it all, but we might see that decline as time goes on, as more of these guys get more experience against racing him.
Yeah, definitely, and even T-Mac, pretty sure he only started racing in T2. I think it was his first season of AFR, and he just improved dramatically. He was. I think start of the season he wasn't doing too well. He was around P8, 8, 9 in T2, and then by the end he was winning races, getting podiums. Now in T1 he's showing himself. So you never know. You could even see someone like T-Mac towards the end of the season giving the top 3 run for their money.
Yeah, and that'd be awesome to watch. So coming up to the end of his first flying lap here, you can see Revo using all of the track and then some to maintain the speed coming down into there, and hits the DRS and will cross the line with a 1:29.1. Nice little bank lap there. So he'll of course be at the top position. And as it goes on, let's have a look at some others. Impulse comes across with a 1:28.7 on the hard compound. Impulse is another driver that's put in so much time.
Yeah.
And is really showing. So that'll be something to watch as well, definitely. I think
Impulse and T-Mac, 1-2.
So Impulse with a 1:28.7. T-Mac with a 1:29.1. Revo gets slot down to 3. Potty with a 1:29.2. Shrimp with a 1:29.5. Flyboy on the softs, as well as T-Mac there with a 1:30.0. Gus Rules with a 1:31.2. Mikau just came across with a 1:28.5 on the hard compound.
Wow, that's a great lap.
Nuts setting himself in the middle there with a 1:29.1 on the mediums. Matt Zoid comes across with a 1:29 flat, puts himself in the third. Lotus with a 1:28.5 on the soft compound. Let's jump on board with Combined as he's getting ready to start up his flying lap as we see more of these times come in. So Bandcamp with a 1:29.5. Let's see. Jacob Meister 1:29.4. And we're still waiting on the last 6 drivers. Greeny comes across there with a 1:30.2. So he's right next to his teammate there. Greeny with an unfortunate race at Australia. He was really putting it to his old teammate Band. And then, of course, came across, I think it was turn 5. Hit the... No, actually, no, it would have been turn 7 because he came out later in the track.
Revo must have... Sorry to cut you off, but I think Revo must have backed off the end of that other lap because he just... It's straight in the next lap after that hot lap, it was 1:27.
Yeah, for sure. 1:27.952. So we'll see if Mikau
didn't even need a cool down lap.
Yeah, we'll see if Mikau can improve at all.
Not too much between them, only 6/10. It's a bit of a gap, but it's less than we've seen before.
Yeah, but it's only 6/10, but there's 12 minutes and 22 seconds left on the clock, and I guarantee you that Revo hasn't done his fastest lap yet.
That's very true.
Either way, we're watching Combined YouTuber now on his flying lap. It goes around turn 1, up through turn 2, into turn 3, hits the DRS zone. Let's see how fast he can make it across. Currently sitting 18th, but he hasn't set a time. So hard on the brakes here as he moves in. It goes a little bit wide. Hopefully it doesn't affect him too much. Now we go through the small right, left in the middle of the track. Now that set of ripple strip on the outside there, that is a killer. You got to watch that because as your tyre degrades, that can really throw you off the circuit. So here we go down.
Yeah, I got spun by one of those in the practice race.
So into turn 10, that hard downhill braking zone. Pumps the DRS, 4 on the ERS. which means he's obviously doing the managing now. Switches it up into hard. Now down into fourth. Makes his way through this last section of the track. Now, of course, you've got to keep off the inside curb here, because that's the one that will throw you straight into the wall. Hopefully we won't see any of those. Oh, but he goes a little bit too wide there into sector 3. And he's going to bin that. He backs off. So, looks like O'Brien wasn't happy with that one. Will he stay out and try for another run, or will he just pull into the pits? Oh man, you can see the issues there, right? So he'll just pull into the pits there. That's fine. Let's jump on with Mikau, who's currently on the outlap. Coach, Revo will do a 1 minute 26. Okay. I'll keep it. That would mean that he goes 9/10 faster. So, I mean, if he that is on the hard compound, so assuming he jumps onto the mediums, that's fair. That would be fair.
I reckon low 127 would be a very good time. But if he got into the 126 on mediums, that's very, very, very good.
Right, so here we see Mikau coming through down into that turn 10. As he's warming up, moving out of the way, for it looks like someone's probably on a... Yep, looks like one of the Alpha Romeos. Okay, so who else have we got? Smitty's just come across. He's got a 129.4. And we're still waiting on Sporty, who looks like he's filling in for one of the Haas drivers. And Apollo combined. Seb and Wahid still waiting to do a lap. Sporty currently on his flying lap, as is Wahid. I'm expecting a strong performance from Wahid.
Yeah, that'd be good to see.
Right, here we go. So into that DRS, cross the start line. Here comes Mikau with his flying lap here at Bahrain. 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go on the clock. You can see Seb coming out, ready for his outlap just on the right there. So hard on the brakes through turn 1. Moves his way up through turn 2. Nice use of the curb there. You can definitely put your car pretty much mill straight over that corner. Get yourself a nice straight line moving up into the straight, moving into turn 4. Hard on the brakes, turns round and goes into that tight right left in the center of the track, using the curb, using the inside curb as well, but it slides him out, and that's going to put him out. As I was saying, you've got to watch those curbs because they can transfer the weight way too rapidly on the car and throw you left or right. So Mikau managed to get away with that pretty clean, didn't hit the barrier. Good thing about Bahrain, nice runoff areas. So he's managed to dodge.
Those tyres going to be cooked now though, so he's probably going to have to come into the medium.
Yeah, definitely. So he's managed to dodge the damage. Right now he's probably going to have to bank it back. Let's try and jump on board with Wahid, who's currently on a flying lap in Sector 3, making his way out to the back straight. Hard on the brakes, probably down into 3rd. That's right. Quick shift up to 4th to keep the traction. He'll hit up that DRS, currently sitting on a 127, 128. Crosses the line with a 129.1, puts himself in 9th. So that'll be a nice start on the grid. And speaking of that, let's see if we can jump on with Seb in the Red Bull Racer. Just coming across with his flying lap now. Now Seb, one of those drivers that has really shown us the amount of talent that he has behind the wheel, but it always gets overshadowed by the fact that his internet craps itself at the worst times. And then it just runs at DCing and ruins his race. So,
it's so sad to see.
It's really annoying. One of the best races I have ever watched in the AFR races, of all of the AFR races, was Singapore last season. He managed to not only keep a steady internet, but he held off Revo all the way to the end. It started raining at the back end of the race, and he was on medium tyres, and he took that car home. And I was that was absolutely amazing to see. It really was. As Revo sets another fastest lap of 1:27.8 on the hard compound. So there is so much time to be gained if they decide to start on the mediums. See Seb going through the gears. Now he's on that back straight, preparing for the last turn.
Very clean lap from Seb so far.
Looking at a 128. 128.6. That puts Seb in 4th right now. Not a bad start. where is T-Mac sitting right now? 6th. So T-Mac's got that Williams. Sorry, my mistake. 5th. He just crossed the line there with a 128.6. So he'll start just behind Seb. Do you know what really is? Lotus is 3rd.
Yeah, I would have never. Compound, but
I would have never pegged that. Oh, is that his soft time?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, because I've got a set to fitted. I thought it was his hard time. I was like, Jesus Christ.
that would be amazing.
That's all right. Okay, let's jump on board with Impulse. He's getting ready to do his flying lap. Just finishing the outlap there. Let's have a look at chat here. Revo had, during that race, Revo had no front wing. Did he? Just kidding. No, I think he was fine, wasn't he? I know he ended up punting it into the wall. He lost traction coming around the final corner. A couple laps behind. Revo setting another fastest lap on the hard tyre, 127.779. So
I expect they'll be starting to come in for the mediums now soon to get their actual whole laps done.
Yeah, well, 5 minutes and 20 seconds remaining, so they're going to have to get this done sooner rather than later. So Flyboy's managed to push his way up into 8th. Flotty as well. Flotty's gone up from 7th there for 128.7. So T-Mac off to the left there as Impulse is getting ready to start his flying lap. Setting up the car to the way that he likes it, down through the gears. Just giving a little space between himself and the Haas in front. So here we go. Sitting on board with Impulse in the Alpha. Crosses the line, gets ready for his flying lap. So you can see that he's using, this is something that I pointed out in Australia, but you can tell the skill of some of the drivers if they are actively managing their ERS during a qualifying lap.
Yeah,
a lot of guys set their ERS to say 5 and leave it, right? And it is designed in a way to sort of set your deployment, which is of course the bar underneath that has the D with the label. That's how much deployment you have in a lap, and hot lap is designed to sort of like pitch perfect manage that, so you don't have to think about it. But it isn't the fastest way because overtake produces more power in the higher gears, whereas hot lap produces faster power in the lower gears. So hot lap is better for deployment, initial deployment, and then overtake is better for sustained power on long straights. But you can see...
Yeah, definitely. It does take a lot of kind of skill to be able to manage that while driving as well, especially on a hot lap. We have to change it so much. It's a lot of extra stuff to do, and you can see Impulse going into just changing through ERS modes as he goes all the way around.
So one thing to keep an eye on is have a look there at the deployment bar. You will notice it's coming awfully close to the end, and chances are when he switches down, there you go, into hot lap, you're going to see that deployment bar pretty much make it to the end as he crosses the line. So let's see, he'll cross the line with a 129.3, so it's slower. So he's still got a little bit of time to go, and he also had a little bit of deployment left, so there's a little bit of work he could do to improve the efficiency on that. Let's have a look. Let's jump on with Jacob Meister. So Jacob Meister, T-Mac's teammate in the Williams team. Hopefully being able to bring some points home. He'll be starting his flying into that DRS section. Across the line. So we'll see how well Jacob Meister can navigate this 15 turn 5.412 kilometre circuit. Of course, one of 2 night races in the F1 calendar, the other one being Singapore.
This combined goes third fastest.
Yes, he does. Just sets a 128.2. That's a great job there from McLaren. So that'll put him there. And you can start to see everybody coming out on mediums now. Still got 2 soft runners. You got Nut there on the soft tyre right now, and same as Gus Rules. Sporty at the back there in 19th, 132.7. So Apollo Pepsi, the only person not to set a lap so far. Just hit that 2-minute mark. Flyboy setting himself into 2nd place. Impulse coming across now with the 128.1. He sits in 3rd. Hello.
Yeah, some great times.
Massive improvements. So Jacob coming around that dreaded turn 12. back straight. And keep an eye on that deployment meter. You can see that it's starting to get really close to the end. It doesn't look like Dakin's really managing the ERS too much. Keeps it on 5, set and forget. He'll come across the line there with a 1:28.4. And that'll put him in 7th position just behind. Oh, someone else comes across. Matoid with a 1:28.1. We have a ton of outlaps. So who are we going to spectate? Let's just say Seb. First of the drivers that are coming across for the flying lap. So let's keep an eye on both of these. So Revo still sitting on pole with a 1:27.779. Flyboy in the racing point with a 1:28.0. Matzoid with a 1:28.1 takes up third. And Impulse came across there in the Alpha with a 1:28.1. And that takes the first 2 rows, first to fourth. We'll have a look at where these improvements are. Combined retires from the session, so he'll be happy with that. Currently sitting 6th. Mikau goes across the line with a 1:27.4. So he has currently taken the fastest lap.
I think Revo might be up on his time a bit here, even though I thought he was in medium ERS at the start, but looks like, yep, oh, wow.
Revo with a 1:27.058.
I think he's going for another lap here as well.
Well, he did cross the line in time, so we'll have a look. Potsy jumps up to 4th, 1:28.0 on the mediums. So Revo currently sitting on pole. I don't think anybody's going to be able to challenge him from there. A 1:27, that was almost flat. 5/100ths.
He's going to want to beat that, though. He's going to want to go into the 1:26, as I can tell.
Well, we've got a Sector 3 yellow flag, judging by it's one of the racing points pulling over. Looks like he's pulling over for his teammate there. So Seb comes across the line, puts himself up in a third with a 1:27.7. That'll be his lap done. So, let's jump up a couple. Actually, we'll jump on with Mikau. He's at the end of this, but he's not doing a lap, is he? No, he's only set on 0, so that's not going to be it. So, on board with Revo.
Oh, he's up on his lap.
Let's see. Coming through Sector 2 now. Keeping it as close as he can. He is 1/10 up on his time. This is going to be in the 1:26s.
Hopefully, if he doesn't mess up the last corner.
You can see him using all of the outside of the track. And again, keep an eye on that deployment meter. This is going to be as millimeter perfect as you're going to see at any point. He'll come across the line. Is it a 1:26? Yes, it is. It's a 1:26.7. A 1:26.795.
That is an amazing time.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
And think about it, that wasn't even after a cooldown lap. That was straight after his other hole.
That was straight after, yeah. That was straight after, which means he's done that twice now. So maybe that's his strategy. Anyway,
secret.
Okay, so let's have a look at the board. Revo with a 1:26.795 solidifies his spot in pole. Mikau with an absolute great attempt with a 1:27.4, only 6/10 behind. He'll start in second. Seb managed to get across with a 1:27.7. That'll put him in third. And T-Mac sets up fourth again with a 1:27.8 in the Williams. Great job there from everyone else as well. Flyboy coming in fifth. Wahid in sixth.
You got Bandcamp down in 14th.
Yeah, so he's obviously having some issues.
Yeah, he might have messed up his final lap, maybe.
Possibly. All right, so now we've got to wait on all the drivers to get ready, set up their race strategies, make sure everyone's on par with each other, and then we'll be able to kick off. So while we've got this downtime, I will ask you guys in the chat just to make sure, does the volume sound balanced at all? If not, let me know so I can fix it, but I do think I've got it in a good spot. Let's have a look here. So, nice lap, T-Mac. Yes, it was. Band, it wasn't a bad lap. No, it wasn't, of course. And you're right. Yes, Combat, you are right. Bandcamp is now using no ABS. He used F2 last season to practice no assists. And he did say that he would try Tier 1 with no ABS. And, of course, for those of you who know, the difference between running ABS and running no ABS is ridiculous because you have to rely on your brake bias so much more.
100%, yeah.
You have to have that proper balance because if you don't, you end up locking up into every bloody corner. Which, funnily enough, Revo does. That's the best part. Revo's the type of person that adjusts his brake bias on the fly, and yet he will still lock up into corners and still come away fast. Which
it's like somehow he even uses the lockups to make him turn.
That's what I mean, and that's what I mean. Like it makes me think. It's just like, so if he fixed that, does he go faster?
Yeah,
it's nuts, right? Like, you're talking about a guy who holds the legit world record on the game for Australia. Like,
and Bahrain and Baku. I think
he did Bahrain and Baku as well.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's recent.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh.
As we go through the season, I'm sure he'll have a good shot at getting the rest of the track too.
By the end of this year, you're probably going to be seeing that guy in one of the driver teams for sure. I reckon that guy has a better chance than anyone to get an esports seat, which would be just and Abu Dhabi, and he did Abu Dhabi as well. Righto, Revo, just go to all of them, mate. Go to all of them, smash it.
Yep.
Just kill everyone's dreams. Everyone in the world.
Problem.
Just do it. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's great to see a full grid this time. That'll be really, really good to see. I don't think I've ever seen a full grid in a league race.
So we do have 20 drivers, don't we? Because we've got a reserve. Yeah. Okay, so this will be awesome. 20 drivers on the grid. That's going to be awesome racing. Hopefully we see everyone on their best. Hope he doesn't get bored here. Yeah, I guess. But having said that, like, if he were to make it into esports, his absolute focus would be that. So, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
I'd imagine that would be the important thing, and obviously we'll all cheer him on as he goes.
How many DNFs do you call in Kunai?
For this race, there'll probably be about 2 or 3. This is Bahrain's. It doesn't look like it, but it's a demanding track because it's so fast. So it can catch a lot of the corners, especially the downhill turn 10, because it comes up quicker than a lot of people think, and you end up locking up real freaking hard coming into it. So it could be a good opportunity to pass people if they mess up, but at the same time, if that catches you, that's the one part of the track that doesn't have a great runoff. Because if you come past that, the barrier's pretty much there. Like, not on the right side, but in front, yes. So it's one of those things where we'll have to keep. There's
a lot of very brutal curbs as well, which are very easy to spin on. Like, so this one on the exit of turn 1 is hard. There's a lot of curbs which are very, very brutal if you run over.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so 29 laps here at Bahrain. Waiting full grid. Everyone starting on the mediums except Sporty, Greeny, and Apollo. Those 3 drivers starting on the hard compound.
We're going to see Bandcamp, see what he can do. I'm sure he'll be, even though, there's someone spun there, one of the racing points. Must have been Flyboy.
Yeah, he's just been reset to the grid. He just spun after, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about turn 7.
Yeah, but it'll be good to see if what Bandcamp could do. I'm sure he'll, even with that no ABS, I'm sure he wants a challenge, and I'm sure he'll be one to watch. He'll probably try and have a bit of a challenge.
Well, I mean, it just comes down to, time, right? So eventually he's going to, he might have some issues, some teething issues at the start of the season, but with more and more practice, I'm sure it'll just get faster and faster.
Yeah, 100%.
But running no ABS, it becomes very, very crucial about that brake bias. It ends up, you have to adjust literally everything, because with ABS, just put your foot on the brake, no worries.
Yeah.
But without it, the brake bias, that weight transfer becomes so important. So we can see there Apollo sitting on the grid. I think it was Apollo.
Flyboy, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was. Yes, it was.
Alright, so here we go, lining up.
Let's got a camera, but we'll have to deal. So waiting for those 5 red lights to go out. Oh, Gus Rawls with a drive-through penalty. He's just jump-started. So that's going to cost him later. He's already sitting there with a penalty as everybody else takes off. So you can see.
Revo's got a bad start here.
Yes, he did. So Mikhail manages to make the jump. He'll get in first. Revo sets up in second. We see Seb coming through. Absolutely doesn't look to be any contact at all. Very clean turn 1. Clean turn 2. Currently on board with Potsy there in the McLaren as they move their way through that long straight. You can see one of the Ferraris going extra wide there. Everybody clearing themselves out of the way. This is good. A great start here.
Mikhail might have made a mistake in turn 1 and Revo's got back ahead.
Yeah, so Revo's now in front. Seb's manages to squeeze his way into second. Oh, one of the racing points goes way off the track. It looks like Flyboy didn't quite get the chicane right. He gets dropped back into 12th. Let's check a couple more. So, down one sitting with Matzoid here as he comes around turn 10. And you can see everyone starting to line up. Greeny and Gus, both on the same team, but both fighting like they're not. You can see them almost side by side now. As Apollo and Gus are starting to fight.
So you got Shrimp up 5 positions off the start. That was a very, very good start for him. He's up P6.
Oh, there's a someone's off! And it's Greeny! Greeny is DNF'd!
First DNF of the race.
Greeny has DNF'd. Let's see. I don't know if I managed to capture that. Let's have a quick look. No, I didn't at all. That is the old replay system. So, that's broken. That's great. That's something I have to fix. No worries. So, Impulse just managed to get overtaken there by Matzo. It's currently sitting 9th. Greeny has
rules come out of the pits for a service drive-through.
Ah, yes, that's right, because he did have that jump start, didn't he? Okay, so Greeny is out of this race. Managed to slide off on turn 12. Put himself into the wall, and that is terminal. So 19 drivers left.
Not a good start for the prancing horse.
No, it is not. Gus Rules in 19th because he had to set that drive-through penalty. What's funny, Coach, what's funny, right? So obviously the replay doesn't work. However, it was also Greeny. So that replay is of Greeny crashing in Australia. Go figure. Alright, so Revo still in front. Seb 0.5 behind. Mikhail the same in third. T-Mac keeping up. 0.3 behind him in fourth. Wahid doing a great job. Shrimp as well. Potsy, Matzo at Impulse, 7th, 8th, 9th. And the reserve driver, Sporty, currently 10th on that hard compound.
Yeah, up 3 positions on the hard compound. That's a very good start for him.
We are seeing a ton of movement in the back here. We'll see if we can catch more of it. Apollo manages to make the overtake on Smitty. Revo sets the fastest lap with a 1:30.7. Smitty now a permanent fixture here at Tier 1. Lap 3 as we cross the line, which means DRS is now enabled by the stewards.
A little bit of contact between Sporty and Combine. Looks like those hard compound tyres are slowing him down a little bit.
You can see Combine going up on the outside. He manages to clip the wing. Can Sporty keep that position? He will for now. But now they'll go into that chicane. Come on, YouTuber, picking up a 3-second time penalty for going too wide. So that's the first penalty there. 3 seconds to him. So
So you can see the hard compound tyres, they're having a bit of a gap in front of them. Both the hard compound tyre runners have a 1 second gap in front of them, just showing the difference in pace between those and the mediums.
That's right. The mediums, of course, being faster, but the hard compound lasting longer, which means...
Oh, Mikhail going in for a move on Seb.
So lap 3 of 29. You can see Mikhail here coming around. Oh, he goes really hard over the ripple strip, but he manages to keep it straight. So he is going to get a bit of drag. There goes Lotus with a 3-second time penalty. Currently sitting 18th. So DRS is enabled and he's within. So let's have a look. Can Mikhail do anything about it? Seb won't have DRS. Here comes the Haas. Goes up on the right side. They'll go wheel to wheel as they come down into turn 1. And it looks like Mikhail does easy work there. Down through the gears. And he'll take it. We've got a Sector 3 yellow flag. One of the Mercedes is off. It looks like it might be Lotus. Looks like he's driving off into the pits.
Seb's coming back at Mikhail now. He's got the DRS. He's up the inside.
Trying to go on the inside. What a great... Oh my god, he took that at such speed. Seb manages to keep second position.
Yeah, great move from Seb.
That was great. Red Bull managing to squeeze that out. And he'll now keep that. Let's drop 2 positions. Wahid in 5th. Trying to get past T-Mac here. Impulse manages to make a move on Matzoid at the back for 8th place.
That's what an Impulse wheel to wheel. There we go. Yeah, Impulse does get past.
Alright, so Impulse setting it again. So Wahid with the DRS open. Looking to clamber up on T-Mac here as they come up into turn 12. You can also see in the distance there's Seb holding off Mikau. Mikau trying to do his best to get it back. Coach saying with them fighting, T-Mac could catch. That is true. So Revo currently 4.5 seconds ahead, so nobody's going to be able to catch him with DRS now.
Oh, here we go. Mikau's going for a move on Seb again.
So Mikau makes the overtake on Seb.
Same spot.
He'll keep it out. Wahid gets awfully close to T-Mac. Shrimp also sticking behind. So
here we go. Seb's got him here. Mikau got a terrible exit.
So Seb going up on the outside. You can see Mikau trying to force the gate. But it looks like Seb will keep it. He's on the outside. There's contact. He gets a little bit of drift, but he catches the car. So no damage. Mikau does win that battle, but Seb managed to keep it on the track, which means he'll be able to recoup that time. That was a great job there because that could have gone very, very bad.
We've got T-Mac on the back now because of all that fighting. T-Mac's right in the back of Seb.
Right up on the back of him. Both of them with DRS as they go down the back straight. Apollo makes a move there on Jacob Meister at the back for 15th. Oh, but Apollo goes out. He drops down 2 positions. Smitty and Jacob Meister still fighting. So as it stands, Revo is just away with this. 5 seconds. The gap between
I think
themselves.
Seb might have missed out on DRS. I think he might have been just out of the DRS zone, which is not going to be good for him.
Oh, T-Mac goes out very, very wide. That's going to allow Wahid to possibly get a little bit of an advantage. He's going to have more speed coming down the straight. Will the Mercedes be able to overtake into turn 1? He looks for it, but he eventually takes the safer option and pulls back. Combined and Sporty trading places there in 10th. Oh, they're going back and forth. Oh, you can see all the battle happening. So Sporty's trying to get past. Bandcamp's doing the same. Combined currently in 10th. Bandcamp goes to the left. Whoa. Sporty cuts him off. And it looks like Flyboy's now in the mix. You've got a 4-car train. So Combined in front as they move into the right-left in the middle of the track. Sporty trying to do his best to get past. So is Bandcamp. Bandcamp got caught up in between all of that. Flyboy managed to take the chaos. And then Nut in the Toro Rosso climbs up as well.
Oh, look at all these cars right on the back of each other. It's great close racing.
So this is awesome to watch. Mikau, so Sporty's teammate, is currently in 2nd, trying to keep Seb off his tail. But the battle at the back here is too good to watch. Sporty goes a little bit wide. That's going to allow Bandcamp to go up on the inside. He'll take the outside of turn 12. Oh! And he cuts into that side again. So that's going to allow Flyboy as well. So Sporty manages to lose 2 positions due to a poor turn. The question is, will Nut be able to make it past now? So coming past that final corner as they come down. Combined manages to get away just enough. 0.7 the gap between themselves. Now Combined doesn't have DRS, but Bandcamp does, and so do all of the drivers behind him. So Combined's going to have to pull off some really serious driving because as it stands, he doesn't have the same balance of speed. Here comes Span into that section.
He's got a big pack behind him. They all want to get past.
0.5 behind him. So good job there for Bandcamp, moving from 14th to 11th. We'll see how much more he can climb. Jacob Meister and Apollo fighting at the back there as well. Fighting quite hard, I must say. They're still almost side by side. Here we go. So unfortunate for Lotus and Gus Rules. Gus Rules only coming down to turn 4 now. He had a rough race. Hopefully he'll be able to hold in there. We'll see if there might possibly be a safety car. We saw one in Tier 2 last week.
But T-Mac's still managing to stay on the back of Seb very well, and he's still got a lot of ERS to play with, so that could be interesting. T-Mac could be challenging for his podium.
Yeah, point
as he goes wide, as I say it.
Matt Zoid got a 3-second time bender there with multiple warnings. So we're starting to see the gaps extend a little bit. Oh, massive break! Oh my god, Flyboy. He was in like a full four-wheel drift there.
Channeling his in a red Panda.
So Shrimp makes the overtake on Wahid. You can see Nut at the back there trying to... oh, sorry, it was Smitty trying to come up on Sporty. And he does. Makes it up into 14th. Bandcamp makes the position change up on the McLaren. He's now 10th. But of course, that's going to allow Combined to be able to pick up the DRS advantage moving forward. Bandcamp 4.6 seconds behind Matzoid in the Red Bull.
I just want to say it's been a great start from Shrimpo. He's up 6 positions off the start. He qualified P11 and he's up in 5th now.
Yeah, Shrimp currently 5th. Yeah, that's right. And his teammate's 8th. So as it stands, the Alfa Romeo is in a very strong position here.
Yeah, both rookies.
Only lap 8 though, so plenty of time to go past yet.
It's be interesting. Seb does look like he's falling off the back of Mikau a little bit. Mikau looks like he's outpacing him. But we've also got T-Mac staying very, very close to Seb. He's been within half a second for like 4.
So Revo's managed to extend his lap to 6.4. Seb is 2.5 behind Mikau. And like you said, T-Mac, within that 1 second, 3/10 in fact.
T-Mac will be saving his ERS and really wanted to have a move soon, I reckon. Oh, he's looking for it here. No, it pulls out.
A Sector 1 yellow flag. Looks like it was Impulse. Drops down 1 position there to Matzoid. So Sporty coming up in the back of Smitty there. It's insane. From 4th to 7th, everyone is within 1 second.
Crazy. Massive DRS train and 9 laps in. Like, we're coming up to the pit stops and there's still a massive DRS. With T-Mac in a very good position, I reckon.
So you can see Seb is having a bit of trouble keeping up with Mikau. The gap now blown out to 2.8 seconds. T-Mac.
Now we get to see how they've been managing their tyres, because it really comes to light here at the end of the stint, because some of their tyres will be really...
So Flyboy at the back there in 11th makes the move on Combined. So now Flyboy will be looking to try and take down Bandcamp. Take a quick switch back to them. Bandcamp's managed to make the gap a little bit bigger outside that DRS range. Impulse, lap 10, pulls the pin. He comes in.
Well, that's quite early, but
there goes
obviously
the
he
McLaren.
thinks he can stretch that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. So the McLaren goes up on the outside of Flyboy. He'll take 10th position back. That puts both McLarens in the points now. Potts doing a great job, currently 7th.
It'll be interesting to see what the undercut does here. I'm not really sure about it. It really just depends how they drive.
All right, so T-Mac getting closer and closer to the back of Seb here in this Red Bull. So Impulse,
for ages.
Impulse exits out in 18th. So let's see if the undercut works.
Yeah, so he'll be looking to undercut Matzoid, I reckon. So we'll see, because they were very close, I think, when they went in. They're only a second apart, so it'll be interesting to see where all the rest of them.
Now it's very interesting to watch here, ladies and gentlemen. T-Mac has 90% ERS, and he is still keeping it on the low setting. So I'm not sure what his
Yeah.
plan is. Is he planning to stay behind until the tyre change?
Yeah, well, I think Seb's got almost 100% as well. So it looks like they're both saving. They're just kind of Seb's waiting for T-Max to have a move, and T-Max kind of waiting for Seb to make a mistake, I think. So they're both kind of building up the ERS, probably running it in quite a low fuel mix, I'd imagine, saving some fuel for the end. Just kind of running along till the pit stops, and then they'll go because they want to get.
It's just the most expensive game of chicken.
Yeah.
Who's going to burn their reserves first? So Flyboy and Combined both pull the pin as well. On lap 11, they come into the pits as they drop back. Everyone else keeping out on track. So Bandcamp currently sitting 9th. See how well he can keep himself up there. Revo's managed to make his lead to 6.4 seconds. It's not as big as I thought it'd be by now.
Yeah, definitely. For 2 seconds after like one lap, you'd expect to be a bit more than this, but obviously he's just kind of managing the gap.
So we'll drop down a couple of positions. It's Potsy. He's trying to catch up to Wahid in the Mercedes. Matt Zoid close behind in the Red Bull as well.
So none of the top 4 have any warnings whatsoever, which is very interesting. They're keeping it very clean.
That's right. The only penalties so far are Matt Zoid in the Red Bull, one of the Mercedes, which would be Lotus, and I believe Combined. Combined has 3 seconds as well. So Potsy, he's looking for a peak, but I don't think he'll commit. He'll pull in. So we've got lap 12 now.
Seb's coming into the pits now, and T-Mac and Shrimp are staying out.
Revo pulls himself into the pits. Seb pulls himself into the pits. Mikau stays out. T-Mac stays out. Shrimp stays out.
Oh, Shrimp's going for a move on T-Mac.
He goes up on the inside, but can he hold it? I don't think so. I think the Williams will have it on the inside coming up into turn 3. And he does. So he'll take that. As you can see, T-Mac weaving back and forth to try and break the drag. Shrimp telling him he's not going anywhere. Looks to go up on the inside. There's a little bit of contact. And he manages to... he forces him off. T-Mac managing to put himself in. Is there a penalty? No. Someone did just pick one up. It was one of the Alfa Romeos.
Impulse, yeah.
Impulse.
Oh, and Shrimp goes for it.
There it is. So while we're talking, Shrimp manages to make the move. So Shrimp slightly forcing T-Mac off the track there. Luckily, no damage for either driver.
To be honest, I think that might have been T-Mac letting him pass, because T-Mac overtook him off the track. So the game might have forced him to give the position.
Yeah, possibly. So Revo, currently 6th on the hard compound. He'll obviously be looking to take it to the end of the race. You can see a bunch of those guys on the hard compound now, all sitting at the back. So we'll have to see whether or not these overcuts are going to work from some of these guys. Mikau deciding that staying out was the best course of action. He's currently got something like almost 12 seconds or 13 seconds ahead of Revo. 6, 7,
Shrimp gets
8.
a time penalty.
So Shrimp gets a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. Okay, as you can see now, T-Mac and Shrimp both come in. It looks like Matzoid's coming in as well. And Bandcamp, he pulls the pin as well. So lap 13 is when all these guys come in. So Revo will take lead again. We'll see how much time he can put between himself and those other guys.
Will T-Mac get held now? That's the... Oh, yes. No, he won't. Okay, so T-Mac's out. Didn't get held at all. That's very good for T-Mac. But that battling will cost his overcut on Seb. No, Seb gets past. So that battling with Shrimp has not been good for his undercut attempt on.
Right, so Gus Rules picks up a penalty there. Let's jump back to...
So Wahid has actually undercut T-Mac because of that battling he had with Shrimp.
Ooh, getting a little bit sideways there. So Matzoid currently behind T-Mac, trying to chase down. T-Mac in 10th, Potsy in 9th, Wahid in 8th, and he's got a decent Potsy 0.5 behind him. Seb in 7th. He's got a decent lead on Wahid, 2.3 seconds. Mikau, the same on Seb, 4.3. Jacob Meister and Smitty close to each other. So we're lap 13 of 29 now. This coach pointing out in the chat, Impulse lost speed. Yeah, he did. 16th now down the bottom. So after that pit, It didn't look like the undercut worked well at all.
Yeah, none of the undercut attempts seemed to work very well. It seemed like the overcut was a bit more superior here. Because we could see T-Mac and Shrimp and Impulse, as you said, are all losing out to the people who pitted later.
Alright, so Smitty and Jacob Meister finally pull in the pin. They're going to drop down. Mikau moves up in a fourth. So everyone else starts to make their way up as well. So Mikau trying to chase that third position down. 2.4 seconds between himself and Apollo. Apollo and Sporty both have to come in. They started on the hard compound, so they still have to come in. We'll see how long that they stay out for and whether or not it will pay off. I don't think it will, though. If you can see, Mikau is only 2.5 seconds behind Apollo already. So the more those tyres degrade, the closer that's going to come. So T-Mac's looking to make a move here on Potsy as Potsy makes a subpar turn into 4. You can see Seb there coming around.
So it looks like this battling here is saving Seb. Seb was really under a lot of pressure from T-Mac, but now all this battling, there's a big four-way battle that T-Mac's right in the middle of, and Seb's just running away. Yeah,
true. It's currently 3.6 seconds between himself and Wahid. That's a very nice gap, obviously breaking out of that 1 second DRS requirement. So Potsy's going to try and make a move. Probably not the best place to do it, I'll be honest. He has a peak anyway. T-Mac close behind. Matzoid not far behind himself.
I think Shrimp might have made a mistake because he's now 3 seconds behind Matzoid. I think he was right up on the back of him.
So Revo sets another faster slap there with a 130.5. Potsy's looking. He goes up on the right side. Wahid tries to force a little bit. Can T-Mac do anything here? So Potsy will take 6th. Wahid holds on to 7th. But as they come into that next section, Potsy will have the tables turned as Wahid's flap opens.
Well, it's going to be close.
Well, here we go. So will Wahid try and make a move? Probably not. He's not close enough. But look at this train. Between 6th and 9th is less than a second between all of them. Shrimp, of course, 3 seconds behind in 10th. As Impulse makes an overtake there on Flyboy. He's slowly making his way up the ranks. Got a Sector 1 yellow flag. Looks like a bit of fighting here between the Toro Rosso at the back. It looks like Jacob and Nut. As Apollo coming up awfully close to the back of that racing point. So lap 15 of 29. We've just hit the halfway mark. And as it stands, we're only 1 DNF in.
So if we look at the advantages from the pit stops, I think Matzoid has done very well from the pit stops. He's right in that battle with T-Mac. And he was in 9th before the pit stops, and now he's in net 7th.
Yeah, he definitely profited from that. All he has to do now is try and keep that gap. He has the Shrimp, 2.8 so far. Sporty and Apollo fighting their way. Have a look, they're side by side as they come into there. Oh, and he gets pushed slightly off the track. So Apollo's getting bullied by both Haas drivers. It's a 3-way into the turn 4. Oh my god. Apollo managed to make a position. Mikau does as well. Sporty pulls back.
Mikau, because he's not in their race. He's a pit stop ahead of them. So if he makes a mistake here, this is terrible for him.
Mikau doesn't care. He just wants the glory. He pushes forward. So Sporty drops down 2. Apollo manages to make his way in a second. Mikau does get past his teammate, however, so it's only that racing point to go. And Apollo, 11.3 seconds behind Revo. Revo is absolutely cementing a lead for himself. But here we go. Mikau has the DRS. Apollo does not. Can Mikau make the move here on the early one? Probably not. He'll play it safe. So if we have a quick look at that train, everyone's still within the 1 second, but Matzoid has dropped off. He's now 1.8 behind T-Mac.
It's made a mistake there, yeah. Now Shrimp is catching him as well. Shrimp's now in the DRS of Matzoid.
So Apollo goes into the pits. And it looks like Sporty will do the same.
So now everyone has done their stops.
jumping back on board with T-Mac, currently sitting 6th position. Potty with a massive lock-up, and it's cost him. Wahid's managed to bump into the back. This might be the chance that T-Mac wanted. So move into the DRS zone. Wahid's probably in a great spot to make an overtake. He does. He goes up on the outside of the corner. Can he hold on to the speed, though? He'll be on the inside for the tight right left. And he does.
Well done from Wahid.
Keeps that 4th position. Great job there. That's going to put Potty a little bit off. And T-Mac using the carnage to get even closer. Got a sector 1 yellow flag. One of the Haas drivers has gone off. It looks like Sporty. He manages to join back.
Cold tyres must have caught him off.
You can see how much ERS T-Mac holds on to, man.
Oh, Matzoid has made a massive mistake. He's down to P17.
Ooh.
Must have had a spin.
So he is down, yeah, just in front of Lotus. 10 seconds of gap there now.
Oh, that's such a shame. He had a similar thing happen in Australia as well, so now that's out of the points again.
He still has more than 10 laps to get it back, so we'll see what can happen. But 10 seconds between him and that Haas driver, that's a bit rough.
No mean feat.
So Revo now with a 12.5 second lead. So you can see Potty here coming on Wahid. Wahid centering the car. He knows exactly what he wants from this. Potty has no choice but to go up on the outside, but will he be able to maintain the overtake? I don't think so. But don't forget T-Mac. Even T-Mac tries to go up on the inside. Wahid keeps the position. Potty falls in behind as they come into that next DRS zone. Potty's going to have it, so is T-Mac. So Wahid's going to have to defend again. Potty looking, he swerves, but he doesn't have a chance. Wahid doing a great job to shut him out. And all the while Potty and Wahid are fighting it, T-Mac is holding onto his ERS, and he's just using the chaos to keep himself up. He's going to be in a great position to pounce later on in this race.
Wahid's on really low ERS. Potsy's not doing too well, but yeah, T-Mac has tons of ERS left, so he's in a very good.
This is great so far. With a Sector 3 yellow flag. One of the Ferraris is off. It looks like Gus Rawls has had an issue. So he rejoins.
T-Mac has not had a single lap of clean air this race. He's always been behind someone.
And he's done a great job to keep it straight, because we all know that dirty air can cause stability issues, especially when that front aero is low on a track like Bahrain. Bahrain, of course, being a low downforce track because of how fast it is. So lap 19 at 29, we're on 10 laps to go.
This engine could be overheating a bit as well because of the air. That does happen. But if you follow someone and leave your fuel mix in rich for a while, your engine overheats and you lose horsepower, so that could definitely be something.
Rich is definitely not the way you want to go, because unfortunately it puts a lot of strain as Botsy gets a lock up there on that rear right. On the rear front. My mistake. So T-Mac in that DRS section. Wahid has put a nice chunk of time between himself and that McLaren. So Potsy is in a bit of a hard place. Not only does he want to try and get past Wahid, but he has to keep in mind that in his reviews, the white Williams of T-Mac is getting ever closer.
Oh, T-Mac is hungry. He wants this P4 really bad.
He's got 10 laps to do it. And so far, he has done an exceptional job to keep on the back of these guys. If we have a quick update from the rest of the track, the gaps have extended, so Bandcamp doing great. Still in the points right now. That's where you want to be. Currently sitting in 10th, so an improvement there at 4 positions from 14th. Got a Sector 1 yellow flag. One of the Mercedes is off the track. That would be Lotus. He's had a little bit of a spin as he rejoins. I'd switch, but the battle here in the middle is way too much. Way too fun to watch.
Yeah, there's not any other really close gaps. Impulse is very close to combined, actually, but other than that midfield 3 train, there's not a lot of other action happening.
You can see Wahid trying to swerve like an absolute snake to keep that drag off. Potsy trying to follow him. He'll look to go up on the inside. What will T-Mac do as he comes in? But everyone's going to have to fall in line because, unfortunately, Potsy wasn't able to make the move. Now, here's the second DRS zone. Wahid is currently 0.3 ahead. Potsy won't have the speed, I don't think. He'll have to fall again. Oh, great job here from the Mercedes. He's doing everything he can. He's doing everything he can to keep that off. So, let's have an update here. So, for the top 8 drivers, neither of them have penalties.
Yeah, which is very, very good.
This would be great, especially for the close racing. Won't be anything to worry about.
Revo's coming up on the back markers now. He has a 13-second lead on Mikhail, which is crazy.
So let's have a look here. Yes, so Revo coming up onto the back of Gus Rules now as they come into that final corner. And we'll see the blue flag start to wave.
Such a shame for Gus Rules, Lotus, and Madzoid just being really unlucky, especially Madzoid. He had a terrible race last week, actually, and Gus Rules as well. Both had just been unlucky. Like, they have good pace, but they've just been, haven't had luck.
So coming into that final corner. So Potty is definitely going to try and make this the time where he moves, but he's only in 2. He's got 65% ERS, but he won't up the mode. He stays in low. So T-Mac's going to make the move now up on the outside.
Oh.
I don't know if he's going to be able to make it. He'll have to try and tuck in onto this corner. No, he plays it safe. Backs off a little bit.
Oh, Potsy's a big bad exit from that, so T-Mac's going to have a good run here.
He has to go left. Potsy closes off the right side, but the outside line is too long, so he won't be able to make that work, and he'll stay in 6th for now, lap 21 to 29.
He gets a bit of a gap. Oh, and as Impulse overtakes combined.
So Impulse and P8. Shrimp, both teammates, 7th and 8th. That's going to be good points there for the Alpha team.
Yeah, definitely both of them are being rookies.
So we're going to come up here into turn 12 as we're starting to see these tyres degrade slowly. Hopefully nobody gets caught out by that. We've only had one so far, and that was lap 1. So Wahid keeping a very, very good gap between himself and Potsy. 0.6. It's just enough to make that DRS null as they come down that main straight.
Although Wahid does have very little ERS to play with. He has 8% left, which is it's not a good position regarding ERS. He's trying to pump it up, but it's not going to be able to stay ahead for too long.
So Sporty picks up a 3-second time penalty. You can see Potsy trying to come on the inside there. Oh, T-Mac having to hit the brakes hard. Just misses. As they move up now into turn 3.
T-Mac must be getting impatient now. He's been sitting behind these guys for laps and laps. I'm sure he just wants to get past. And he was behind Seb at the start, remember, too. So he's just hasn't had a single lap of clean.
But he's holding on to that ERS. You can see he's in 0 right now because he knows that he does not have to use it. So he can charge it, which means he's going to be in a really, really good spot to challenge at the end of the race. Nobody's going to be able to catch him, at least not in that gap.
Oh, and Shrimp is actually getting a lot closer too. He's got the gap down to 1 point.
Shrimp on fresher tyres, only by 1 lap though. Revo, so it's another fastest lap, 30.2. Smitty with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So yeah, Shrimp is starting to get under that 1 second mark. So we might have an extra contender as we come to the end of this race. Wahid goes way wide.
Oh.
That's going to cost him. And you can see T-Mac pumps it up into 4. He's getting it to overtake both of them. He'll go up on the outside. Potsy's keeping it, but he's now stuck. He has to back off. There's nowhere to go. Potsy makes the move. Can T-Mac keep it on the inside? There's a little bit of contact, but no damage. So Wahid loses a position in all of the carnage. Shrimp's managed to come up as well.
Oh, this is an amazing battle.
So Potsy makes it into 4th. Wahid drops 1. T-Mac stays behind. And Shrimp managed to bring it up. Can Impulse catch up to this party? He's currently 2.3 seconds behind. If they keep fighting that the way they are, there's a good chance 100%. Impulse come back into it.
I reckon Potsy's going to get himself a lead now. He's pumping his ERS up to max. He wants to break that DRS.
can see Shrimp going a little bit wide there. That's cost him. That's going to put him out past the 1 second mark, I think. It's under just 0.9, so it looks like he'll stay within the DRS train. So Wahid now 1.1 seconds.
So yeah, Potsy's pushing really hard. He wants to break that DRS as fast as he can and cement that P4.
Also, Impulse has managed to bring the gap down to 1.2.
Oh wow, it's going to be like, what, 5-way battle for P4?
It might be. It might be. We might see a crazy train. Ozzy Osbourne reference. We might see a crazy train as we come down to the last laps of this race. T-Max looking to try and make a move. You can see the traditional trademark Wahid swerve. Trying to break it, but have a look. He swerves out way too far, loses the traction, and T-Mac decides to go to the outside. And he'll keep it. Wahid has no choice. Wahid on 7% ERS. He is completely mismanaged his recovery system.
So T-Mac has got past, finally.
So T-Mac currently 5th. He has 5 laps to try and catch Potsy in the McLaren. 1.5 is the gap right now. Wahid 0.4 behind. Shrimp's managed to come up as well, 1.6. And Impulse is floating at the back there. If he can manage to make it down under that 1 second mark, he might be able to use his teammate to get himself back into this fight.
Matt's always made a place on Jacob, which is good. Good to see, even though he hasn't had the best race, he's still fighting.
So, an update on the back markets. Jacob, 16th, trying to overtake Matzoid there, currently 0.6. Revo sets another fastest lap. Apollo in 11th. He's close to Band. Band will want to try and defend that points position with everything he's got. So Potsy is currently 1.4 seconds ahead of T-Mac. If we have a look, he's on 36% ERS. T-Mac on a lot more. But you can see
T-Mac's going to want to try and close this gap down. He's going to be very hungry for it.
Definitely. He's only got 4 laps to do it.
I reckon he can. I reckon T-Mac's going to get Potsy in the end. It's going to be very, very close, but I reckon T-Mac's got it.
So Apollo makes the overtake on Bandcamp at the back there. And there's a sector flag. It looks like it has to do with the Renault. So Bandcamp's had a little bit of an off. That's allowed. Wait, no. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry. I just watched Revo overtake Lotus, I think. Yeah, I've got the cars flipped around. My mistake. Alright, so Bandcamp's actually fine. He's currently 0.5. I might just quickly jump on board with him.
Yeah, he's going to want to get this P10 back. He's going to want those points, I'm sure.
So let's have a look. Apollo. Oh, both on similar ERS points, actually.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting battle to watch towards the end.
So Apollo is on the medium compound, which means he does have a faster tyre. But in the coming laps, will that tyre degrade enough to allow Bandcamp to overtake?
So it does look like that battle for P4 has settled down a bit. Shrimp's still close on the back of Wahid, so he's going to want any position he can get. T-Mac definitely trying to close down that gap to Potsy. It's 1.3 now, so he's just needs to push a little bit more just to get into the DRS. Then he should have a good chance, I reckon. He's got to keep it clean.
So Bandcamp currently in that DRS zone. Apollo just out of it. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Back up to 5th, where T-Mac is trying to swat away this time to see if he can get up into that 4th spot. Wahid and Shrimp also trying. Impulse has managed to bring it down to 1 second. There's only 3 laps to go.
T-Mac's made a lot of time now. He's only 1 second behind. He needs to push just that tiny bit more just to get into that DRS zone, and then should be pretty okay from then. But he does still have a lot to do with not many. T-Mac's actually on his best lap of the race here by 1/10. right when it's needed. So here we go. Oh, he's just out of the DRS, 1.034 as he crosses the detection zone. So it's gonna be hard. We have to keep chasing him down. Not just a tiny little bit more, and he's in a hot lap ERS. So this will be interesting to see. And he's broken away from Wahid as well.
Another thing to keep an eye on is as well, Potsy is dangerously low on ERS. T-Mac is not. So T-Mac's conservation efforts here are starting to
Shrimp
show.
and Wahid going side by side. Shrimp getting the better of Wahid.
They're still side by side as they come down into turn 4. And as you can see, Impulse at the back. So Wahid goes up on the outside. Shrimp takes the inside line. Shrimp will make their position. And Impulse is now caught up. 2 laps to go. And Impulse is within the DRS range. So this Mercedes is about to get bullied hardcore by the Alpha team.
So we go. T-Mac's definitely broken away from Shrimp now. So T-Mac all he has to do is look forwards. He has 2/10 to the DRS, so he can push as hard as he can. But then meanwhile, we will watch this battle between the 2 Alphas and the Mercedes' Revo. So it's another fast lap of a 1:29.745, which is great on the hard.
Okay, so lap 28 to 29. Impulse is finally within the DRS range here of these other drivers. T-Mac still just out of reach, 1.1. So as it stands,
right on the back of Apollo. He's only 3/10 behind, coming up onto the main DRS straight.
Here we go. So Apollo is closing up on combined. And Bandcamp's doing the same to him. We've got a sector 1 yellow flag. Looks like everything's just a little bit of a off circuit. No big deal. We'll get a 3-second time penalty there. So it looks like both Lotus and Gus with 6-second penalties.
Oh, T-Mac just needs to get that tiny bit more just to get the DRS. Every millimeter counts now.
Right, switching back up to Impulse. Currently in 8th position. His teammate in 6th. Wahid stands between him and 7th place, rather. Jacob makes an overtake on Smitty at the back there for 15th. So as we're coming into the final
DRS. There we go.
Alright, so T-Mac within that DRS range. So he's only got 1 lap to try and make this work. As it stands, Revo will take the win here at Bahrain with a 15-second lead. Mikau with 2nd place and Seb in 3rd as long as nothing major happens. Potsy with a 0.7 lead, but it might drop away if T-Mac can make it work. I'm going to jump up a couple of positions here as we come into that final corner. And the final lap. So Potsy makes it through. Into the DRS range. How much speed can T-Mac make up? You can see it drop down, 0.5. Into the 0.4s. Hard on the brakes. Into turn 1. This is going to be the best chance T-Mac's got to try and make that 4th position. Conversely, Wahid's doing the same. Go. Apollo makes the overtaker combined there at the back. T-Mac looks on the outside.
Covers him off well on the inside. Right behind him.
There are way too many battles for me to keep track of, but I'll try and commentate as many as I can. So T-Mac 0.1 behind. Impulse 0.6. Wahid 0.3 to Shrimp. You can see Bandcamp's 0.1 behind combined. He might make the move. Let's have a look. I'll jump on board with him quickly. But I'll have to keep an eye on both. So here we are coming up into that back sector. Last lap. Revo takes the win with an easy 15-second gap. Mikau's about to cross as well. But the real question here is, can T-Mac make something work? Potsy gets a little bit of a slide. This might be the move that T-Mac's waiting for. He'll try and push as hard as he can. He's on 4 on the ERS. Can he make it?
Not gonna make
I don't think so. As long as Potsy keeps it. No, that's going to allow him to get 4th. Great drive there from them. Wahid the same. He'll fall back. Now we'll drop back to Band. And it looks like combined will hold Band off and keep that point position. A great attempt by all of these guys. Oh, combined!
Oh!
That's right. He had 6 seconds. He had penalties. Oh, I totally forgot. Oh, great drive.
Man gets a point.
Great drive. Great drive. That's right. He had penalties. It even tells me on the screen. That's what's sad. I even loaded up the telemetry so I could keep track of the damn penalties. And I'm not even looking at it. All right. So Bandcamp does make the points. Good stuff. That is a great drive from everyone, I must say.
Definitely.
Woo.
Podsy, great drive from Podsy. 3 positions up to take 4th place, and Shrimp 5 positions up to take 6th. It's a great job from those two.
God damn. God damn.
That was a good race.
That was a great race. It was an absolutely great race. Of course, Revo takes the win again to a surprise to basically no one. I will admit, though, he did have great competition at the start there. He obviously had a bad start, and Miguel managed to make the most of it.
He did, yeah.
So,
he was challenged into T1, but he managed to come on top.
Great drive from both of those guys, from all of those guys. And then that train in the middle. Oh,
yeah. So who's your driver of the day, Kuno?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know.
I'm going to say Potsy, to be honest, because he did come out on top of that battle, and Shrimp did really good as well.
I mean, how many positions did he make up?
I think it was 3,
7.
so...
Look at that.
No, grid 7, and then he came 4th. So he made up.
So what's that? 3 positions. Have a look at Shrimp, though. 11th to 6th.
And Apollo.
20th
to 9th.
20th to 9th, yeah, that's fair. Okay. Woo! Okay, what a race. Well, hopefully you guys at home have enjoyed that. I know we have. So now we're just going to have to wait on everybody to make their way out. Of course, Tier 2 is happening soon, so don't go anywhere. We'll be having a short break, and then I believe Nut and Band will be picking up where we leave off.
And me and Kunai are going to battle it out for the T2 race win, I'm sure.
There's going to be another safety car, and I'm going to bin it again. Okay, so
no.
As it's I've been Kunai Zero. This has been Matt. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I know we have. We'll catch you on the next one. Don't go anywhere.
Counting days, counting time. Hope our dreams come alive. The grass seems greener on the other side. The stars shine bright, but only when it's night. We all have wings, but no one's to fly. I have waited for too long to get rid of this loneliness, but all this time I felt alone. I just became unfocused on what's wrong and what's right, and on my purpose in life. You will fall, you will cry, but you will always find light. Counting days, counting time, counting time. Hope our dreams come alive, come alive. The grass seems greener on the other side. The stars shine bright, but only when it's night. We all have wings, but no one's to fly. Too long to get rid of this sadness, and I finally wrote this song, and I'm getting more focused on what's wrong and what's right, and on my purpose in life. You will fall, you will cry, but you will always find light. Counting days, counting time, counting time. Hope our dreams come alive, come alive. Grass seems greener on the other side. The stars shine bright, but only when it's night.